What is up, RZ Jones 18 fans? Welcome back to the second review of 2025, and what a fitting way to do my next video after doing a video about Battle Cat, in a way, to now do it about two riders of cats. I guess that works, but with all that being said, this is the review of the Mattel 80th anniversary He-Man and Skeletor from Mattel. This was a Target exclusive. I got this from Target on Friday. I've had the figures for about 3 days now, and we're going to talk about it because I think, for me, these are my two favorite figures as of right now. These are my favorite figures that I own current. These are my two favorite figures of 2025. So we're going to start off with the gorgeous box art here. We have He-Man here on this side, Skeletor on the other side, fighting over the power of Castle Grayskull. If we move it here to the side of the box, you've got more of that gorgeous artwork going around. And if we hit the back of the box, as you can see, we've got some gorgeous artwork here of the original comics Man-at-Arms. We have Teela here, He-Man and Skeletor fighting in front of Castle Grayskull. We have the 80th Mattel logo up here. It says up top, evil Skeletor ruthlessly schemes to take control of Castle Grayskull, but He-Man guards safety for all of Eternia, his faithful allies at his side. If we move here down here to the bottom, we have got the cross sail, and we also have some action call out shots and what have you. So we'll bring this back. As you can see, you got the twisting of the waist for the power punching. We'll talk about that in a second. Putting the two swords together, the squishy heads, and our two figures that lie within. But there is more to this packaging. Oh, yes, there is. So when you open up the flaps, you get more gorgeous artwork here at the top. We'll get this to stay here for just a second. Like this all look nice and pretty. So if we move the camera over here, you will see Skeletor is right there. On the other side, we have He-Man, and here in the middle, we have our two blister card packages right here. This part right here removes, and we can set this down here. And I'm going to go ahead and pause, and we'll get these two packages out of the box. Gorgeous box. We'll be right back with the two packages. All right, guys, and we're back with just the two blister cards that were inside that gorgeous box. And as you can see, these work exactly like Mattel Creations exclusive back boxes. So with He-Man here, all you have to do is just slide, and you get the beautiful card art right here with the bursting red rock, the dark blue for Masters, and it's simply, once you slide it, it'll go right back in, and your two blister cards for He-Man and Skeletor. On the back of He-Man's box, we've got that gorgeous card art again, but with just He-Man, and on the other side, we've got Skeletors. Now, what's really cool is that if you put them side by side, it completes that gorgeous artwork again, just at a bigger scale. Now, if you look right here at Skeletor's chest, there is that green right here, and we will talk about that when we get to the actual figure. There's our He-Man right there, sides of the box. These are gorgeous and obviously unpunched, so that makes it really nice for collectors. The one thing that is interesting in that if you don't flip them around, these look like original Masters of the Universe packaging. So, but don't be fooled. That's how you can easily know that these are the 80th, is just the back of the box. But now, from the boxes, we're going to look at good old Bonehead first. And here we are with the 80th Mattel Skeletor for Masters of the Universe. And just look at this guy. Just look at him. So good. So they went with a light blue skin tone here for Bonehead. Darker purples for like the armor, for the harness, for the belt right here. Darker purple here for the boots, and This is a full booted Skeletor, not half booted Skeletor. That head sculpt looks absolutely tremendous. If we zoom in on him here, bring it in close. As you can see, he does have the pink cheeks. Now, if you are a Motu fan, and when you look at Skeletors, you'll know that one of the variants of the original 11 was the pink cheeks on Skeletor. And I think it's very cool that they gave him the pink cheeks. Now, with the Skeletor, you do also get a mini comic. So we're going to bring the camera back just a second here. We're going to move Bonehead to the side real quick. And they both come with one. So Skeletor comes with the Vengeance of Skeletor mini comic, and it's in this nice little plastic seal here. Take that off, like we see in like all the Origins figures. But here is the mini comic. On the back, you got the cross sale for He-Man and Skeletor, and the 80th logo right here, Vengeance of Skeletor. You've got the Alcala signature right here, the old school Mattel logo here at the bottom. It says free mini comic with purchase of figure, and this is like your original mini comic, like with full stories here inside with gorgeous artwork from Alcala, and you can definitely tell it's Alcala artwork. Like there's Lords of Power Merman, and like how the originals, like there's Blonde Tila, Lords of Power Man at Arms. You've got the jeweled-eyed Skeletor, which we will look at when we compare him to the Origins version. You've got Beastman, you got Lords of Power Burman, old Alcala Grayskull, and really good mini comic. Read it like twice already. Really good stuff. When you look at it, again, for people out there, obviously the 80th anniversary logo will give it away, but this is an original mini comic, The Eye of the Storm. This came within the wave of Terror Claw, Flying Fist, He-Man, Rock-On, and Snout Spout. But when you look at this mini comic right here, it's got like, you know, an actual like comic style, and again, it's got the cross sale on the back. You can always tell this has the 80th logo. I'll go ahead and show off the He-Man one. You get, with him, Battle in the Clouds. This was a Merman He-Man story that was really good. But, yeah, gorgeous artwork all around on the mini comics. I did drop something here. Where'd it go? I'm gonna pause for a second real quick guys, I'm gonna find some. And we're back. And here we are with Skeletor again. Now, articulation, this is originally like a vintage style Motu figure without the elbows and the knees. So the head does rotate, and it's also a squishy head, but don't squish it too much, you might break it. But there is, yeah, just making sure. Head rotates, you've got the arms that go back and forth. But here's the cool thing. So original vintage figures. So here is my Mexico Battle Armor Skeletor. They have the, they have the rubber bands inside, and that's how they would stand and stuff. But with these new ones, they didn't go full vintage on us because these figures here have ball joints at the legs, so these can stand a lot nicer than your like original figures, but the legs can go forward, back, and you do get a little bit of swivel here at the hip, but that is it. So so you get two accessories with Skeletor. You get his Havoc staff, and then you also get his half of the sword. So we're going to talk about the weapons here for a second, because they are different than your Origins weapons. So for context, here are the swords and the staffs between the two Skeletors. So this one right here, this dark metallic purple one, this is from the 80th. And then this is our original Motu Havoc staff. Now, when you look at the ram skulls, they There's a little indent right here in the ear. If I can zoom in here, I can show you guys what I'm talking about. So again, when you look at the ram skulls here, this one's a dark, like metallic purple. This one is not. But when you look at them, they look identical, but the purple is what gives this away. I'm gonna go back just a little. The purple is what gives these guys away. They are completely different shades. This is like a matte dark purple. This is metallic dark purple. It shows more on the swords. The staffs almost look the same and like on camera, but in person, one is more matte and one is more metallic dark purple. Now, when you look at the swords, the one on this hand is the regular Origin release, and this is the 80th Mattel. Now, they do work the same, but if you look on the 80th Mattel version, this has the male pegs, and on the purple one for Origins, it has the female. So, in theory, you could, if you line these up, you could do that. So that gives you a full purple power sword for your Skeletor, which is pretty cool. Now, granted, they look so different from one side to the other, but the fact that they thought about that when they made these, and now you can make a full power sword for your Skeletor if you want, is really cool. But again, like if you hold these back, like you can really see like how light of a purple the Origins one is compared to the Mattel 80th version. It is a lighter purple compared to the metallic purple on the Skeletor one. So if we bring back in our Bonehead here, he's got one gripping hand and he's got one relaxed hand. So you can obviously give him his Havoc Staff and holds that just fine. And get him standing up straight. There you go, buddy. But obviously he looks really good with that. You can also give him his half of the sword. Now, back in the day when people talked about this, like they had to hold their Skeletor like this when they were fighting, because if you look at it the other way, it just doesn't, I don't know. But now, if you have your Origins Skeletor staff, Skeletor sword still, you can piece these two together. And now, when you look at it, put it in his hand, he's got a full sword. And that's really neat. And that like combines like the vintage and Origin together. So for comparison, we're going to scoot back the camera here for, I'm going to back it up here just a second. So here is the new Mattel 80th Skeletor. And then here is the vintage battle armor. So as you can see here, you know, like the darker purple here on vintage Skeletor compared to the lighter purple here on the 80th. There's a lot more detail and muscle definition compared to the new one. It's just the nature of the sculpting from back here. But it's really cool seeing the new 80th Mattel Skeletor compared to an original battle armor. But here is the big one. So here is the Origins Skeletor. So this is more akin to what I was expecting to see. But when you even in person, like so on camera, they look to be about the same shade of blue. They're not. This is a lot lighter compared to the darker blue over here on the Origins Skeletor. And here's my thing. I love these both for who they are and what they represent for Motu. Like, this is what Motu was. This is what Motu is. And it's really cool seeing them together. And, like, I respect what this is and I embrace what this is. It's just really cool to see Motu in both sides of light. It's really, really, really neat. But we have so much more to go over when it comes to the other guy. The other thing I want to show you guys off with him as well, so if we move Origins Skeletor out of the way, I do have these, and I wanted to show off how he would look with Origins Panther, the flocked one. So if we put him up here on the saddle, you got to move the harness out of the way. But let me tell you, they look terrific together. I think that looks really, really, really good. Like if you really wanted to just put this 80th Mattel figure as your as your Skeletor in your collection, it would work just fine. And I think these look absolutely great together as a duo. But this duo looks good. I think the other one is better, but we have some things to talk about for sure. But let's get to him. Like I said, let's get to this guy. So here is the most powerful man in the universe. Here is our 80th He-Man. So, much like with Skeletor, I like the changes that they made here. So originally the Skeletor was supposed to have that green paint here on the bat. I'm glad they took that away. Same thing here with this He-Man. I think he looks better than the original artwork that came out for this figure back a couple months ago. So when you look at him, like that looks like He-Man. I think that look like the hair's a lighter yellow. He's not as tan. Like I'm gonna go ahead here and do this. Here is the Battle Armor He-Man. As you can see, like he is a lot lighter skinned than the vintage Battle Armor He-Man. Now, but if you look at it, like the details look almost exactly the same on the arm, and when you look at the head sculpts in particular, if you state them like this, like there's like shading here on the hair, like the head looks very like distinct, whereas when you look at the 80th He-Man, like the hair is a lot yellower, and the face gives more of the Origins figure. So, like, if we go ahead and bring in, this is the Battlefield Earth, I believe. Maybe I'm wrong. I believe this is the Battlefield Earth head sculpt for He-Man, but like this, so like if we do this, so we're going to do a triple comparison. So like 80th, Origins, and vintage. So like when you look at the three of them together, this looks like it makes more sense compared to this to that. This look like the hair matches this more than this one, but I think faces matches more on here than it does over here. To me, his face just looks like a little too wide, and I don't know if that's just a me thing or not, but it definitely looks a lot wider than I was anticipating. Now, both him and Skeletor do have the flick punch. So, like, if we bring in Skeletor here, you can, you know, flick his arm back and smack him into oblivion. It's so much fun. Oh, these figures are so cool. But to get it back, to get Bonehead out of the way, now let's talk about the weapons. So we're going to fix the camera here. We're going to zoom out just a little bit, because there's so much more to compare with the He-Man compared to the Skeletor. So here is everything that came with the Origins Wave 1 He-Man. Would be this shield, would be that axe, and would be trying to remember because the hilts are different. This is the, and here is the Wave 1 sword. So that's Origins. Now, here's Battlefield Earth, Battlefield Warrior 2-pack. So we have the silver shield, we have the silver axe, and then you have the full power sword. Scoop this up. And now here is the 80th Mattel lineup. So you have the original shield, you have the original axe, and then you have his half of the original power sword. So we're going to go in descending order from this side first. So we're gonna get these out of the way. So when I reviewed or shared my first thoughts on Origins back in 2020, I really liked this shield. I like the fact that it was painted, and I like the clip system. But then we got to the silver one, which I liked more. I thought the paint looked a lot better on the Battlefield Earth, the Battlefield Warrior 2-pack version of the silver. So then I moved that to the side and gave it to the Battle Armor He-Man. But now that I have this is the new 80th one. Now, I don't know if it's just me or if this just feels weird. The texture, like on the actual shield part, feels weird. Like it feels sticky, and I don't know why. But like when you look at the shield from Origins Wave 1 compared to this, it's like it's night and day. I like this one more compared to that. But then when you look at these two, I still like this, but I like the coloring on this version of the shield more. And so, and also it's a lot smaller as well. Like it's not as round. Like this is like a lot more like thicker. This is like a thinner piece of plastic. This feels like a sturdy piece of plastic. But that's the shield, and how it works on the hand is like any other He-Man figure. You know, you've got the handle here that goes along the relaxed hand, and then you just clip it. Now, there. So like you've got that going on. But that's the shield. So now this one is going to go into a part bin, and this one's going to go to the one's going to go to Battle Armor He-Man, my vintage one, and one's going to go to my regular He-Man that I have on display. So I haven't decided which how I was going to do that. So next up would be the axes. So again, you got this generic blue one with Wave 1. No paint detail, no nothing. It's a nice thick style axe, and I've always really liked the axe. And then Battlefield Warriors, we got the all silver one, which again looks really nice, but then this is just the better axe. It just is. Like, I like the thicker blades on these ones, but it only does justice if we zoom in here. Look at the detail on this one. Like, you got like the pauldron here up top, the little etchings here in the axe, the grip. Like, when you look at it compared to the Battlefield, this is the original one. Like, when you got the SDCC one from 2019, like, these were painted silver. And so it stood out a little bit more. And then you got the Battlefield Warriors 2-pack one that's more silver. And like from a distance, these will have more of a color. I feel like these two axes together is the color of this one. But I like this axe a whole lot more. And then if we bring He-Man back in, got the gripping hand, just put it in, and boom, we're halfway there. So then from the axes, we get to the swords. So Battlefield Warriors, you get the full Alcala Power Sword. My favorite sword for my He-Man figure. I love this thing. But then we have these two. So this is the Origins one, and this is the 80th Mattel one. And much like the He-Man and Skeletor there, you can actually connect these two together and make a full sword. But granted, one side's very, very matte and one side's very silver. But you can do this and give your He-Man now a full sword, which is probably what's going to end up happening for one of my other figures. I have an extra half sword, so I'll probably end up giving that to somebody. But much like with original He-Man, you can store the sword here on his back. And you've got that going on. And there is your full completed look there for good old He-Man. Like, that's how He-Man, that's how the figure would look back then. So if I bring back in Skeletor, we'll put the sword behind his back. Get him going like that. And we'll grab his Havoc staff, and like there's the two of them together. Like, it just doesn't get better than that, in my opinion. And again, I wanted to show this off before we move on to the final thoughts and everything, I wanted to show him with a Battle Cat. So here is my Origins Battle Cat. And again, my saddle's not on there. It's tight enough, but you guys get the idea. He looks really good on a vintage style looking Battle Cat. Like, that just works. Like, if you wanted to do it that way, you totally could, if you wanted to. But, look at it. Hold your helmet, sir. Hold your helmet. There you go. Set him down here. But yeah, so let me get these guys situated here. And like, yeah, like what else is there to say? This is one of the coolest sets of figures that I have gotten all year. Like, it represents He-Man and the world of Masters really, really, really well. Like, these are terrific action figures, and they get the full treatment of like gorgeous boxes and everything. And like, this whole package is just really, 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 really good stuff. Now, this was a Target exclusive. All the 80th Mattel anniversary stuff is. And I got mine through the website. I noticed someone said it was back on stock and online. That's where I got mine. I believe they're still in stock currently. I will go ahead and leave a link to Target in the description down below, so you guys can go check it out and see if you guys can snag one for yourself as well. I love this set. This is much like the Masterverse set that came out back in 2022. I really, really, really think they did a tremendous job with the set, and I could not recommend it more. But there you go, guys. That is the Mattel 80th Anniversary Masters of the Universe Retro Style He-Man and Skeletor 2-pack. Thank you guys very much for watching this review, and until then, we'll see you guys next time. Like, rate, and subscribe. Talk to you guys soon.